Hey guys, and welcome back to Mad About Skin. If you're new to our channel, welcome. Here at Mad About Skin, we're passionate about helping you to get the most out of your skincare. So if you haven't already, now's a fantastic time to click that link below, subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell, and you won't miss out on any of our amazing future content. Now, in today's video, I'm going to be doing a full rundown and review of these two products, the sunscreens from Purito. I'm going to be addressing some of the controversy that's swirling around online about these two products and giving my ultimate opinion on whether they deserve a place in your skincare routine. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, keep on watching. Now, Purito launched their two products around a couple of years ago and they took the world by storm. These have become viral skincare sensations in a short period of time. We have the Centella Unscented chemical sunscreen and we have the Comfy Water mineral sunscreen. Now, I know some people are going to come for me and say mineral and chemical might not be the strict scientific terms for sunscreen, but I think it's the one that most people understand and get their head around when it comes to their sun care. And so those are the ones I'm going to be unapologetically using throughout this video. So in terms of these two products, I have been using both of them interchangeably for 2 years, and so I'm going to share my views on them. I'm also going to touch on some of the drama and the controversy surrounding these products, which has emerged online in the past couple of months. So let me start with this, which is the Comfy Water Sunblock. This has been my go-to for about 2 years. I have been experimenting recently with some other Korean SPFs. I did a whole video on them, which I'll link up there, but this has been a firm staple in my skincare collection for years. I love how this feels on the skin. It is super lightweight. If you think back to how sunscreens, when your mother was chasing you around the beach trying to put on that thick, gloopy, white ombre solaire sunscreen that you absolutely hated having on and never sunk in no matter what you did with it. This is the exact opposite. This is lightweight, barely noticeable. You put this on in the morning and it disappears without a trace. It is a SPF 50 PA+++++, which means it gives you broad spectrum UVA and UVB protection, which is what you should be looking for in a sunscreen. There's no scent to it at all and it disappears without a trace. Why this is my go-to is I have oily, acne, breakout prone skin. It doesn't clog the pores, it's non-comedogenic, and most importantly, it keeps you matte all day long. You apply this as your sunscreen in the morning and your skin will still be looking matte by the end of the day, which is almost unheard of and has just been a holy grail for me. In terms of how it applies, you need to use the amount. I always say this with sunscreen, read the instructions and use the amount that they suggest on the product. I use a fair amount of this, but because it sinks in without a trace, you can be a little bit more liberal with it. You're getting the extra protection and you're not worried about feeling like you're caked or too ashy or white cast during the day. That's gone in 20 seconds later, disappeared without a trace. It's got no texture at all. It just feels like your normal skin. No scent, and it disappears straight away. In terms of the Centella Unscented, this is the chemical sunscreen and I think works better on drier skin types. That's because it's slightly more hydrating than the Comfy Water. It gives a dewy finish to it, so it's not totally matte. So if you are suffering with dry skin, I think this could be a real good SPF for you. I reached for this in the winter months when my skin is just a bit drier. I start getting a bit dehydrated. I think it's the change in climate. We've got the central heating on, you know, everything just becomes a little bit more dull and dry in winter. So I tend to swap it for this one. In terms of how it applies, very similar. It's got a similar consistency, though a slightly more yellowy tint to it, but that doesn't show up on the skin. It goes in, takes, I'd say, about 10 seconds longer to be absorbed than the Comfy Water, but it disappears and leaves a very light, hydrated, dewy feel to the skin. So there's no shine to that, but it gives a light, dewy hydration, making it perfect for people who have dry skin. So if you see like, I'm sold, I need both of these in my life, and I definitely would recommend you try them out. What about some of the controversy which is swirling around online? Now, from what I can take from the controversies, people say they don't trust these as sunscreens. Now, when it comes to sun protection, I think you really have to have faith in the product that you're using. And all skincare is unique to the individual. And so what works for me might not work for you and vice versa. I'm not going to mention any names when I talk about some of the thoughts, the feelings and the controversy that's surrounding these, because I think that makes it really personal. And that's not what I'm about on this channel. We're talking about the science, the basis, the facts and how products work. So quite a few people have started saying they don't trust this product because they know somebody that's used it and has burnt using it. That is a load of old rot. I don't like anecdotal evidence like that when it comes to sun care. You know, When we're talking about, serums and nice to have products in our skincare routine, yes, it's fine to say, oh, I have a friend and she really likes it. I had a friend and he really didn't get on with this product. That's absolutely fine. But when it comes to protecting your skin from the sun, I don't think there's any space for that sort of scaremongering and anecdotal evidence that we're sharing. You need to look at the science. Both of these products have been vigorously and independently tested by the Korean Food and Drug Administration. That gives you the confidence that they've been tested and live up to the claims that they're making in terms of the protection they are offering. This isn't an in-house, the brand's done a bit of testing and put some marketing on, which you can get with some other skincare products. When it comes to sun protection, it has to be independently verified, and that's happened. I did some research into how these things happen. I have full faith in the Korean Food and Drug Administration to correctly test and robustly trial these products to make sure you're getting the right level of protection. The reason I don't like people sharing anecdotal evidence of, oh, I had a friend that burned when they used this product. Well, you don't know how that person used the product. Did they follow the instructions on the back to the letter? Did they use enough? Did they cover all of their skin as they should? And did they reapply often enough? All of these things come into whether some product works or not. This will only give you the protection it says it will give if you're using it correctly as per the instructions. I reapply rigorously, I follow all the instructions, and even sometimes I burn using products. It wasn't actually this product, but another product I have full faith in. I went on holiday the other year, I didn't apply regularly enough, I was sat out in the sun and I caught the sun. It's a fact of life. You need to follow the instructions, and you can't blame the product if you burn if you don't follow the instructions. And you don't know with these anecdotes whether the person has followed the instructions or not, which is why I like to stick to the science behind it. Now, some people do have some legitimate concerns that, particularly with the Comfy Water Sunblock, this is the mineral version, has very low concentrations of the mineral filters that you usually see in these products when compared to other similar sun protection products. That is, I think, a valid concern. And I reached out to Purito and asked them their thoughts on this and how they justified it. And they said the formulative technology used optimizes the availability of the filters and enhances their performance. Now, this is something which I think is worth pointing out when it comes to skincare. So we get very het up on the ingredients never lie. You hear this all the time. Ingredients never lie. Well, actually, if you take the ingredients which are within a sun protection product, for example, they all work interchangeably with each other. So you can't just isolate an ingredient and say this ingredient at this concentration will deliver this result, because actually you need to look at how it's formulated, what the base formulation is, are there any other ingredients which are going to work alongside it, either in a positive or negative way, and you can't just pick apart the ingredients. You need to see the skincare product as a whole and what it's going to deliver as a whole to your skin. And so when Purito is saying it's formulated in a way to maximize the efficacy and the performance of the filters within, which means they need to use fewer, which can be beneficial because the filters often are what give the appearance of a white cast or an ashiness on the skin, then actually, providing it's been robustly and independently tested, which this has, I think we just have to take that as as a positive, as something which this brand has developed, which allows us to enjoy the protection without having the intense white cast. And so that isn't something that bothers me. However, I do always say, if you are concerned and have legitimate concerns with the concentrations, then look for some other products. That video I shared earlier has some fantastic Korean skincare options. I'll link it again below. So check that out if you do want to look at some other products which you might prefer to this one. I think overall these are fantastic products. We can often get a little bit, scared might be the wrong word, but we can also be a little bit skeptical of new technologies. Korea came out with some fantastic and stunning sun protection products which felt lightweight. They got rid of all the things we hated in our sun care before. The greasiness, the thickness, it left a white cast, it never sunk in. They transformed it with some beautiful new technologies which are really delivering the texture and the feel we wanted whilst maintaining the protection that we crave. However, it is difficult to get your head around some new technologies, as some things might feel different and therefore might not seem as genuine as some of the traditional products that we're used to. However, I always say follow the science, particularly when it comes to sun care, because I don't think you can cut corners when it comes to protecting from the sun and cancers which it can cause. So look at the science and as far as I'm concerned, these have been robustly tested and I'm quite happy to include them in my skincare routine. But I'd always recommend people do their own research and look at things for themselves, because products do behave differently on different skins and to different skin types. I would just like to end on saying, let's not share any hate or any, names in the comments below. Let's just share our own experiences, because I would love to hear what your experiences have been with either of these products. So leave me a comment below on what your take from them is, and if you're continuing to use them in your skincare routine. To summarize, Korea has come out with a set of sun care products which are fantastic. They actually make protecting your skin against the sun pleasurable. Gone are the thick, awful, greasy formulations, which, let's be honest, we didn't apply because we hated. You didn't want to put that really thick, occlusive sun cream on before you went to work, because you'd be greasy, ashy, white cast all the way through the day. And so people just didn't use them. They'd rather use nothing than those awful products that came before. And so Korea have upped their game, come into the market and delivered something which is actually pleasurable to use. And so for me, wearing an SPF is always going to be better than not wearing an SPF. And that's where I think products like these can really come into their own, because they make wearing an SPF pleasurable again. And that, I never thought I'd see the day that I'd be saying that, but I actually enjoy using these products. So wherever you are in the world, guys, stay safe, stay well, and I'm sending lots of love from the UK. Bye.